Welcome to week 2 of your capstone course. This week we will be looking at your PICO questions a little bit further. And the course outcomes for this week is to develop and outline a specific systematic decision-making process to integrate critical thinking with clinical judgment to assure safe and effective outcomes. This week we have 2 threaded discussions that are due. The first one is forming your PICO question, and this is going to be a very important question as this is going to launch your milestones in your entire capstone project. Make sure that you identify your question in the form of a question, each element of the PICO question, and also I want to make sure that you check back and look, because I will be responding to each one of your threaded discussions with feedback on your question, your PICO. This is very important that you check, because I would hate for you to continue to work on milestone number 1 and be going in the wrong direction. Your second question is where to search. In this particular threaded discussion, I want to make sure that you list your primary sources, where you're going to look, what are your search terms that you're going to use. Make sure that you still follow the grading rubrics for the threaded discussions, which includes replying to students' threads, as well as making sure that you have a resource listed from not only the lesson plan but also the assigned reading. The other assignment that is due this week is your milestone number 1. Again, remember, all your milestones build on the others, so I want you to make sure that you are headed into the correct direction. If you go to Doc Sharing, you will see right here where it talks about milestone 1. In here you will see the guidelines as well as the PICO worksheet. So we're going to look at each one of those now. So when you're looking at the milestone number 1 worksheets, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to just state your research question. Now, what is the focus of your question? When you look at that, one of the things that you need to do is look at one of these right here. If you look at these 6 terms, this is these 6 terms, you will pick one of them that apply to your research and you will put it right here in the focus of the question. Now this is worth 8 points, so if you do not fill this in, you will lose 8 points right off the top. Now as you scroll down, you will look at each one of these elements, your PICO elements. Each one of these should be taken from the information that you posted in your threaded discussion. So again, this is not duplicate work. You want to make sure you're using the same question. And then you will discuss your search techniques that you will use to either expand or contract your search results. Now once you move to the literature review worksheet, there are 6 columns. You will use this worksheet. You will add your references right on this column. The first column is that you are going to put your reference, your journal article in APA format. So put the completed reference in the first column. Now remember that the requirements for this assignment is that you're to have 6 peer-reviewed journals. So here is where you identified whether it was peer-reviewed or not. Remember, for this particular assignment you need 6 peer-reviewed journals, not websites or any other source. On the next column, you're going to do a brief description of the research. Tell me in your own words, what was this research about? What were they looking at? I should have a good sense of what this journal article was about by reading this column here. Then discuss the type of research it is. Here are some of the examples. Was it a qualitative or quantitative study? And one of the elements that some students miss is discuss why this type of research is significant to your project. So you can't just label what kind of research, but why is that important to your project? And then the final column is the study outcomes and recommendations. Tell me what this journal told you. What did you learn by it? What results did they conclude? And then also, can the study recommendations be used as a guide? So how is this applicable to your particular project? So this is what you need for the milestone number 1. The other document in the doc sharing that you might want to look at is the guidelines and rubrics. This right here will go over the grading rubrics. This is very important. What I want each one of you to do when you're fit before and then after you've completed your project, read through this first column, which is the egg column. Make sure that you have each one of these elements. Again, if you don't, then you're going to be somewhere over here. So you want to make sure that here's where I was talking about when it talks about the let me hold on one second. The focus of the problem is missing. So if you don't fill out that particular area about focus of the problem, the most you can get is 25 points out of the 35. So again, this is very important that you make sure you have all elements of the grading rubrics. And as you scroll down, this is also for the literature review worksheet. Again, I hope that everybody has a fabulous week. If you have any problems or concerns, please let me know. This is the week that we really get started in our milestones and our capstone projects, so it's very exciting, and I love to see everybody's area of interest and the topics that they pick that are relevant to their clinical practice. If you have any problems, don't hesitate to call me or email me, and I hope everybody has a fabulous week.